What was the last story that really affected you, that really brought into focus how you view the world and made you realize what other stories lack? For me, that's A Silent Voice, or Koe no Katachi. Written by Yoshitoki Oyama, it explores the path of a young boy going from being a bully to being bullied, and his path to redemption from there. This bully in particular, though, is Shoya Ashida, a young boy who, as a child, is known for being a class clown, always trying to keep school life fun for him and his group of friends. But when a new girl, Shoko Nishimiya, joins the class, something changes for Shoya. Shoko is deaf, and as a result, Shoya immediately takes to teasing her for her disability. Over time, his harassment grows more and more severe as the school fails to do much to assist Shoko with her disability, leaving her classmates to pick up the slack and help her take notes so she can actually understand what's happening around her. This added strain leading many of the kids to resent Shoko, feeding into the growing approval for Shoya's bullying. Eventually, though, it backfires on Shoya as the school learns what the children have been doing, and the class immediately throws Shoya under the bus, putting all the blame on him even though everyone laughed and went along with everything he did to Shoko. From here, the story shifts, having Shoya become an outcast just like Shoya, resenting everyone around him for his situation before withdrawing into himself and closing himself off to the world. After a few years, when Shoya gets into high school, he runs into Shoko again and decides to make up for his past, striving to fix the damage he's done and to rebuild the bridges that he'd burnt. It's a masterfully written story that delves into the psychology behind bullying and gives a more realistic look at what bullying is really like, why kids might feel motivated to pick on others they see as easy targets, and also how that kind of alienation affects a child, while also critiquing the ways Japanese society stigmatizes against people with disabilities. Bullying in anime is not on its own a unique topic. Plenty of anime deal with characters that are picked on or facing bullying. But what makes A Silent Voice different is that it doesn't treat it as a purely black and white issue. Many times it's shown as a way for a protagonist, typically the victim or a savior to the victim, to strike back at the ones bullying them, while the bullies are portrayed as one-note villains out to cause pain to satisfy themselves. And while this may feel right, the reality is that everyone has their own capacity to be Shoya, or to be one of his friends idly standing by and encouraging that behavior. Because in the end, there's a banality to evil that if we gloss over can blind people to when they themselves are taking part in these kind of actions. It's also one of the best portrayals of social anxiety I've ever seen. Shoya visualizes an X over the face of everyone around him, avoiding looking at them, assuming that in their eyes, all he will find is judgment. He's retreated into himself, and the way this resonated with me was not something I was prepared for, as I used to do something very similar around Shoya's age. There's this assumption of hatred he thinks people hold towards him, of disgust that he does not want to face. But in reality, behind those X's are just people who want to get to know him, to learn about him, to be friends with him. It's a striking visual that really shows the mental wall Shoya is building up as a form of self-preservation against his own anxiety. Plus, the film never feels too heavy for the most part. There's drama, to be sure, but plenty of lighthearted comedy to keep from getting stale or one note. The cast is unique as well, with characters that may frustrate you or annoy you, or who might be the most purest person ever. Animated by Kyoto Animation, or KyoAni as it's frequently called, this adaptation does a miraculous job interpreting the manga into the audiovisual format. One of those key aspects is the audio and how the film is able to, at times, put you in the place of Shoko, muffling the sound to make the audience experience the difficulties she faces in understanding conversations around her. The animation of the sign language reading characters is also integrated in a way that feels very natural. Instead of subtitling the sign language, they use a mix of characters occasionally paraphrasing what is said in their responses to Shoko, or leaving some up to context clues for the audience to interpret. This, along with the sound design, really immerses you in what these characters are experiencing. But outside of that, the score and sound design also weave in and out through moments, mainly focusing on what our lead Shoya is feeling in every moment. The soundtrack is mostly orchestral, feeling soft and gentle at times, but notching up and up as tension and emotions flare, or alternatively, fading and growing somber when things are brought down. And then there's the animation itself. KyoAni is one of my absolute favorite studios, and this is a great showcase of what makes them so special. Between the shot selection in many scenes, the subtlety in the character animation, the brilliant lighting and colors, and some just heart-wrenching moments, the studio is able to put on a stunning visual display while also keeping the focus on the characters and the story. Unlike a lot of anime films like, say, Demon Slayer Mugen Train, the focus is not on action. A lot of what separates an anime film from a series is that ability to have more focus on huge bombastic scenes. But that's not really what this film is interested in, opting for more focus on the characters and their reaction. Some of these moments are small, some large, but always it is focused on building a more complete picture of our characters you can't get purely from dialogue. It's an impressive feature that also uses a subtle blurring at the edges of scenes and lighting to really focus your attention where it belongs. For similar anime, I would first point out the creator's other major work, To Your Eternity, which is one of my top anime of 2021. This more supernatural story focuses on an orb sent to Earth to learn about life on the planet, slowly learning about people and the cycle of life. It carries on Oima's ability to write heartfelt human characters while also blending in tragedy and emotion that just punches you in the gut over and over again, yet I can't keep coming back for more. The Netflix anime movie Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop would also be a similar draw. This absolutely gorgeous film also centers around people dealing with social anxiety and trying to feel comfortable in their own bodies. It's also a beautiful summertime romance film that I did a whole separate video on, so if you want to learn more about that, be sure to check out that video. And lastly, a few ways I would compare it to Anohana, the flower we saw that day. This series focuses more on a friend group torn apart by the tragic death of a friend, trying to deal with the grief and trauma that they all carry from those unresolved feelings that they had as children. While it's not the exact same as a friend group ripped apart by bullying, the theme of growing older and trying to reconcile the past is a strong bond between these two works. And if you cried at one, I'm confident you're gonna cry for the other. In a good way, in the best way. Making this video is a long time coming. I love this series. The original manga series ranks right beside Berserk as my favorite manga of all time. I saw this film as soon as I possibly could, and I try to re-watch it at least once a year. It is one of my top picks for people who don't think they like anime to see what anime can do. It is emotional, thoughtful, beautiful visually, audibly, and in its message about the world. In the end, I think this is a movie about compassion, about empathy, about how you can admit your past wrongs and do your best to make up for them. It's one of my favorite films of all time, and without a doubt, an anime you should watch.